are going to Abuja, Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory, where there is breaking news coming in, and the breaking news concerns a fire that has broken out at the Federal Secretariat Complex in Abuja this Monday morning after sections of the office of the head of service the building caught fire. So we're going to our correspondent in Abuja right now, Charles Pius, who's going to give us the details of what's going on. Charles, good morning to you.
Good morning, Tolu. Good morning.
Fantastic. There we go. Good morning, Charles.
Okay, so just to give you an overview of what has happened here, just in the last 4 hours, residents who passed this area saw the fire right on this building, and the building is actually a head of service building at the central area. I mean, it's just 1 kilometer to the Federal Secretariat, and it's of the head of service department, that's where this fire actually started from. So far, we've seen all sorts of people, the NEMA officials. We've also seen the fire service also come in here to put out the fire. The fire apparently was caused by a faulty air conditioning. Apparently, because of the fact that this particular fire or the AC was not put out earlier, or wasn't put out earlier on Friday. So maybe, just maybe, that's where the fire came out from. But the full report is not yet out, but we're hearing on the ground that that may have triggered the fire in the building. So we have someone here from NEMA who would give us an update on really what happened. Thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you, sir. Good morning.
Can you just tell us an update of what happened here this morning?
Yeah, as you can see, there's a fire outbreak involving this building, head of service building. My office was alerted about 35 minutes ago on this particular fire incident, and we in NEMA, by our mandate, we are expected to coordinate all the other stakeholders that have a role to play in fire disaster management, and also mobilize critical resources that we need to suppress this fire. So as quickly as possible, we activated all the relevant stakeholders, the Federal Fire Service, the FCT Fire Service, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, including the police, so that they can be on ground to provide all the necessary support with zeal and a singular goal of suppressing the fire and attending to any eventual casualties.
Okay, so preliminary, we hear that the fire was most likely from a faulty air conditioning. Maybe one of the staff did not put out the AC just before they left on Friday. Is there an update regarding that?
No, in terms of the cause of fire, the security agents among us, the police, the security and civil defense, they're already, they're already conducting investigation to know the actual cause of the fire. But our responsibility is to ensure that if there are people who are injured, if there are casualties, they are evacuated to the hospital as quickly as possible. And if additional resources are needed for us to be able to suppress this fire as quickly as possible, that is what we do. But the role of investigation, the security agents are on top of the game.
Okay, so can you give us a little bit of advice, especially if, for instance, there was an issue regarding the technical faults, in the AC? Do you feel that there's a responsibility of the members of staff, regarding what had happened today?
Yeah, actually, fire disaster management is everybody's responsibility. You have a role to play, I have a role to play. Everybody in the office, in the homes, in the street, they all have a role to play. And that's why we have this ongoing, it's a continuous program, fire sensitization, to educate the public on what you need to do, number one, to prevent fire outbreak. Number two, if peradventure there's a fire outbreak, what is expected of you? Like in an office situation like this, it's expected that all the workers, as quickly as possible, as you are closing from work for the day, you switch off all the electrical appliances. Offices like this should have smoke detectors, they should have a fire extinguisher, so that even if help will come from outside, from stakeholders like us, they should have that minimal capacity to be able to respond, to see how they can also provide necessary to suppress the fire before we come on board.
So how early do you think people can start using the building?
That one is left for the authority of this building to decide. Ours is to ensure that the fire is suppressed, and as you can see, the fire has been suppressed. What we are doing right now is to damp the building, the parts that were affected by this fire. We are damping them so that the temperature can be brought down, and we'll be sure that there won't be any other case of fire outbreak.
Thank you so much. Tolu, you just heard from the head of NEMA operations here in Abuja. They are all here trying to make sure that everyone is safe. So far, there's no casualty. But thank God there isn't any casualty. But so far we've seen several law enforcement agencies basically trying to make sure that the traffic is also okay and everybody is fine. But so far, really, we basically haven't seen anything that looks like it's dangerous.
Charles, if you can hear me now, can you confirm that the fire has been put out? All right, so I think there might be some audio issues that are making it difficult for Correspondent Charles Pius to hear us, but he's in front of the Federal Secretariat in Abuja, where reports of a fire outbreak came in early this morning at about 8:20. Just once again to remind you of what we just broke as happening now. A section of the office of the head of service of the Federation building in Abuja has been impacted by fire. Eyewitnesses say the fire was first noticed around 8:20 a.m. this morning with thick smoke billowing from the affected part of the structure. The incident reportedly occurred in Section C of the building within the head of service complex. Staff members were seen evacuating the area as emergency responders were alerted to contain the situation. And the media department of the office of the head of service of the Federation confirmed the incident, saying that it was contained to just Section C and emergency officials were on the ground working to bring the situation under control. As you saw, we also spoke to a NEMA official on the ground who said that it may be due to an AC, an air conditioning units, but of course that is just preliminary, and we hope to have more details as to what caused this fire. All right, some happening now news coming to you from Abuja.